Hey, no need to beat yourself up because your knitted swatch has some, well, let's say, interesting and unexpected textures in there. Today, we're going to figure out just how to fix them. So, you have your swatch. You expect it to look like your pearl swatch, but it's looking a little... yeah. Let's check it out. Let's see what challenges we're facing with this knit swatch. So we can take knitted stitches too. We can take them off one by one. Since the reverse of the knit is the pearl and the yarn is naturally hanging in the front, we're going to leave it there to open that loop that we came from. This yellow color is on the needle, so I need to go back into this purple loop, and I'm coming from behind. This will put the right leg of the loop in the front of the needle. Okay. Let's open her up a little bit. Here's the next one. This one seems okay. But there's some definite issues down here. Into the back. Off. And we grab. Well, what's happening here? If we look at this gold yarn, it's going through two loops. It's going through a purple loop first. See it kind of buried down there? Let's dig it out. There it is. And it's also going through this blue loop. It went through two loops at the same time. That's going to decrease our number of stitches. But we can pull this gold loop out and free the two of them and take a better look. This purple connects to this bar here, and this blue is free, but it should be the row below. Let's continue to remove more stitches and see if we can sort out what this tangle is doing. Okay, here's the next gold loop, and it's going through two also. This bar of purple and the blue. Okay, let's gently pop it out. Yep, you can see these are doubles. They don't want to separate. Probably catch them and correct them on the next row. Now we're back to the burgundy. Okay. And now it's loosening up. Take off this loop. Take off this loop. And here we have a couple of dropped loops. So we want to catch them before they go any further. Doesn't matter which needle can catch them quicker. That one's popped out. So we've got this teal one. Okay. We know our working yarn is back here. So we're just going to slip these two loops onto the needle. And this one, let's take a look at this one. This loop is on backwards. It's the left leg that's in the front. So again, we can flip it and put it on the needle, or I'm going to put it back on there. We can make sure when we grab it from behind that that right loop is the one in the front. Now we're into the red. And we can tink our way. It's another one that feels twisted. You can feel them, they feel tight. Oh. We know what this is. When we turn over, you can see these two were not worked. They're just sort of twisted, wrapped around the needle because that was a large loop that got pulled forward and was worked twice. We saw that when we were purling as well, that end loop. You can see how big it actually is. So when we knit this last one, the first one rather, it was pulling over the needle and it was knit as 2 stitches. Okay, let's continue to back out here. Now, be careful. It's easy to want to pull in here, but that's not the loop that the red is going through. The red is actually going through this one. So make sure you see where the origin is. Working our way back. Now, here we come across where there was a little bit of a problem. This was one of the drop stitches. And this caused the tension on this next one to get really tight. But there it is. Sometimes you have to dig them out. These look interesting and tight. Try to get into this blue. There it is, separate a little bit. And you can see this whole loop is on the wrong side. And this is a hot little mess. Okay, but the burgundy is going through this blue loop. So let's use the point of our needle to try to stretch that blue loop out a little bit, because it is really tight. There it is. Whoop. See if we can get in there. If you can't get in one way, get in the other way. We can straighten them out later. Okay, I've got my point in there. Now I can knock off the burgundy and pull it out. And we can see that we've skipped this blue loop altogether and that it's showing as a knit stitch. Let me put this guy back on this. These are showing as knit stitches, which means they were purled because we're on the reverse side. And that's where all this twisting happened. And the reason it's really tight, if you look at this loop, can you see the way it's got its legs crossed? One over the other. If I back out carefully, see how that loop turned around? It straightened itself out. Now the two loops, the two legs, I'm in the way, are side by side. So it'll sit better on the needle. The reason you're going to get a stitch that twists the legs, let me see if I can do it on purpose. See how they twist under there? They're forming an X. That's because when you knit, instead of going into the front leg and pushing back and making the V, you came in like you were purling. If I go in the wrong way, and pull it. There's the X. See the blue? You've twisted the stitch, and that will get really tight. So let's back out of these and not make this any worse. Okay, we were here. This one is twisted. So I'm just going to pull out and let him straighten himself out. Yep. I was kind of riding the horse the right way. This one is not. You can see the left leg is over. We want the right leg in front. Right leg in front. And you can see now that the yarn has popped back to the purl side, which is what we want since we're doing this in reverse. Right leg. This one looks twisted also. Let's get it off. Check it. Yeah, there's those crossed legs. Straighten it out. Back on the needle. Right leg. Right leg. Right leg. Ah, this looks familiar. We know what caused this because it did the same with the purl. This yarn didn't come through the needles. It came around from underneath and it got caught. So we've released that. Let's get into this blue. Right leg. Right leg. And let's see how we're doing. Well, now the rest of this looks okay. These are all purls because it's the back side of the knit. On the front, we have all our little V's. Let's give a quick stitch count. 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and we've saved half your work. You can continue on. Now that we know the basics of how to create the knit stitch, we're going to use it for our second project. Whereas the first time we worked with the hair and we looked into the energies of rebirth, of intuition, and balance, this time we're looking at the Two of Stones. Stones are an earthy suit in the Wildwood Tarot, earth being the present, the physical world. This is abundance, this is health, this is things that you can touch, this is the mundane world. And part of the problem, part of the challenge to the mundane world is exactly that. We face challenges. So taking our cue from the hair, we're going to visit challenges.